crazy.
Please help me welcome Jack Osbourne. I don't know if we even need these, to be honest.
Yeah.
Feels like overkill, doesn't it?
It does, yeah.
A little bit. All right, Jack. So, I feel like we can't not talk about what happened right off the bat last night. So you had an experience in Louisville.
I did have an experience last night. Jamie and I, we went and had a little kind of late night fried chicken, situation, and we went to Royal's Chicken, and then after we went for a little walk. We were like, yeah, this is, Jamie was feeling a little gassy, so he's like, let's walk this off. And we ended up in kind of like the downtown, bar district area, and just cruising around, and we had this woman screaming in a vehicle saying, help, help. And so I go running over there with these two other, these bouncers from this club that was on the corner.
Can you imagine if you run for help and they're the two that show up? By the way, what happened? What's going on?
Well, I get right to the car door, and this woman's, she's like, he's got a gun. At which point I go, nope. And I turn around and I go the other way. When I turned and started rapidly moving the other way, I ended up in this parking lot, and there was a cop sat in a cop car in the parking lot. So I go waving over to this cop like, hey, gun, gun, and this guy's like, what? Like, gun, and I think he was a little freaked out, and he was like, oh, okay, so he gets out and gets his gun out, and I'm like, now there's two guns. And he starts going over to the vehicle where the fight is occurring, and then the gun in the vehicle goes off. So we hear a shot, and I'm like, oh, this is bad. And then we hear a woman screaming, and I'm like, okay, someone's expired rapidly. What does that sound like?
I gotta be honest, I'm trying to pay attention, but she's behind you. It's so cool too.
And so this whole thing, and then about 40 cops showed up, and it was a thing.
Did anyone see the live stream on it? Yeah,
I was there.
Oh, you were there?
You were
there? I was there.
She actually got shot.
No. So we watched the guy who got shot get put into the ambulance.
Okay.
Yeah, so...
Oh wait, did someone actually get shot?
Yeah. So,
okay, I didn't know someone got shot.
I can tell you
it's
what
Louisville.
I picked up.
It's
Louisville. This is
someone
a
got
normal
shot.
occurrence. It's a normal Tuesday. But, okay, so I was at the comedy club, the Louisville Comedy Club, to see Randy Feltface.
Yeah.
And as we were coming out, everybody came back in, and they were like, don't go out there. And we were like, why? And they were like, someone got shot. And we were like, that's a normal Tuesday. And I don't know.
Wow, that's so
It doesn't mean it's okay.
Like, it's fine, we just have to go to our car. But then my best friend's dad is like a paramedic. And so he was like, I'm not on the job, but I'm nosy. And so we slowly made our way over there and just stood and watched. And we picked up conversations around us from people who had actually witnessed it. And apparently it was, this is gossip, but apparently it was a mother, her boyfriend, and her son in the car.
Yeah.
And we assume it was the son who got shot by the mom's boyfriend. But as he got put, he was an adult, not like a child. But
this got dark fast.
Yeah. But then he got put in the ambulance. He was still cursing the guy out. He was fine.
I didn't think anyone got shot.
Yeah, he did. He got put in the ambulance.
Wow.
It's okay. Your part of the story is still funny. It's fine.
Yeah.
I did my favorite part though. You're talking to the two women that were there.
Yeah.
And they're talking about something. They're like, I just came over here to sell lights. I thought it might be like a celebrity or something like that. And you go. It took forever to figure out who you two were. So obviously, you grew up with a strange kind of life. A little bit like that. We all mostly saw it.
Yeah.
Or portions of it, like a highlight reel of what happened. So what was it like being the first reality show, really, that the world saw?
Sure. Yeah, I mean, when you're in the middle of it, you don't realize that you're in the middle of it. We just did an experiment with MTV. It was like, hey, we want to do this thing.
Did you guys give the idea to them? Did they come?
No. So what had happened was about 6 months. No, it was maybe a year before we started filming the Osbournes. MTV had done an episode of Cribs, and then they came out on Ozfest to cover like MTV News spent a day at Ozfest. And so me and my sister were on the episode of Cribs, and then I was like the tour guide to Ozfest and like showed them all around. And so they had called my mom saying, hey, we want to sit and meet, we want to figure something out, because we like Jack and Kelly, and we want to see if there's a way we can, do some work. And we were kids, and my mom was like, hey, MTV called and they want to have a meeting, and and this is the early 2000s when MTV,
the height of MTV,
yeah, when it was like a thing, and so we were like, okay, and I was 14, 15, no, I was 15, and we had a dinner, and over this dinner we kind of devised like, well, why don't we just do, and it was a long conversation, they were kind of throwing around ideas, and it landed on, why don't we just do our own version of The Real World, but we do it at our house. And
was that harder to sell to your mom and dad?
No, because my mom was at the dinner, and she was like, yeah, let's do it. And the house that we shot the show in was still under construction, so my mom just turned around and said, well, you guys are gonna need to like wire up the house for lights and cameras, so why don't you just come now when the house is still under construction? And so they were like, okay. And
perfect time.
Yeah, it just kind of became a thing. And there was no, and like back then, there was no social media, there was no like roadmap of when you do a reality show, you then, release a sex tape, and then come out with a makeup line and a Spanx line, and there was none of that. It was just
life.
Yeah.
So the first season that was kind of like the trial season.
Yep.
How long did the filming start to? How long were they with you guys?
So they never. They were supposed to turn up for 3 weeks and shoot a pilot, and that was it. That was in October, and they didn't leave until. Man, it must have been. It was right before the first season premiered, so it was like March. They left a little, maybe they left in February, but only for like 2 weeks. Because the show then came out and it was a huge hit, and then they were like, all right, we're coming back. And we're like, okay. So it was, and then, we had small breaks up until we stopped doing the show, but it wasn't very long.
So I've been watching, have you guys watched the basement tapes? Then you guys relive the episodes, and I watched them when I was younger, but I don't remember them. My wife and I have been rewatching them every night, building up to this, because I didn't want to be stupid up here. And so I want to jump to something really different. At one point you mentioned you lived next to a cult leader.
Yes. No,
I want to hear that. You snippeted it in the.
Yeah.
I need to hear more about that.
So I don't live next door to this cult leader anymore. But I moved into this house in the valley in LA, and I kept seeing these like signs in this guy's lawn, and they had it was I forget what the name of his little group was called, and he had a car with it on the side, and I just one night I go, I'm gonna look this up, and I look it up, and I'm like, oh, they're like an eco doomsday cult. So they think that we're living in some full on global warming doomsdayers, but there's a religious component to it and a science thing, and they have all this funding, and yeah, it's wild. They're full on doomsday cult type stuff.
Living next to Jack Osbourne.
Yeah, and it's weird, and they all wear white all the time. His cars were all white. Yeah, it was very strange.
So, being the Osbournes, we saw a lot of the life and that kind of stuff, but after the Osbournes, and you've always had supernatural stuff and ghosts and UFOs and that kind of thing. How did you transition that into the shows you did?
Sure.
From that point?
It was really accidental. So I grew up loving the X-Files. It was my favorite show, and I was just a bit of a ghost UFO nerd. It was just a hobby. And in 2011, I got a phone call from someone I work with, being like, "Hey, someone I know is doing this paranormal show, and they want to know if like it interests you. And I'm like, heck yeah, because the guy I worked with knew I was into it. I'm like, I'll do it. And I did this show called Haunted Highway, and it was like, here's the thing about making paranormal TV. It is not glamorous at all. It is like, we're like the Jon Snow of entertainment, like the full bastard, like, we don't like you, go live in the tower. Like, TV hates that paranormal rates for some reason, and advertisers hate it, but it has a following. And so, budgets when you do paranormal shows are abysmal, and it's hard work, and you're working all night long, usually in cold, damp, moldy, scary places, so it's hard work. And the first show I did was called Haunted Highway, and we filmed it, all the investigators on the show, we filmed it all ourselves. So it was kind of like Blair Witch, and it was hard, and it was miserable, and it was like, oh wow, okay, like, this is, you know, go be on TV, they said. It'll be glamorous, they said. No, none of that. But it was really, the thing about it, because it was so hard, everyone was just so real in it. No one was like putting on like no one was putting on a show. And I think people really could tell that we weren't faking it. And
did you ever get pressure from the networks to fake things, to push? I mean, because I know people that worked on shows and they were like, hey, we had to go set things up. Did they ever pressure you guys to do that?
So even though we shot it ourselves, we still had like, you know, you still have a showrunner. They kind of help steer the ship and stay on track. And the way that these shows work, or at least the way that I work with the paranormal, is we do a ton of research. We figure out, all right, what's been happening at that location? What are the experiences people are having? Who are the witnesses? Who can we talk to? How do we just get information? And then we decide, all right, well, what are we investigating within this location? Is it a specific incident? Are we trying to get confirmation or whatever? Now, a lot of times, you have to submit all of that to the network for the network to go, yeah, that's a great storyline, do it. Now, there's so many paranormal shows, you kind of have to do it to make sure you're not just mimicking one of 12 other shows. So, you find a unique way in. The way that they'll kind of back you into stories is like, there's a bit of manipulation as far as the story you're trying to tell, but the way that I always pushed back was, I never faked any evidence. A lot of shows will, fake reactions, everyone's screaming and that's just, it's ridiculous when you see all that.
Is there a specific place when you were going that you enjoyed the most?
Man,
or hated the most, I guess?
I always liked places that weren't falling apart and cold and damp and if we went to investigate like a haunted four-star hotel. Yeah, anytime we investigated a hotel, I was like, this is great. Especially one that was a functioning, hotel, because there's building codes they have to,
follow.
Yeah.
Oh, that's unhealthy.
Oh man, we went to on Portals to Hell, the first location we ever did was the Alaskan Hotel in Juneau, Alaska. And they put me in this room with this dude, had some alleged demonic possession and threw himself out of a window, and it was crazy, and there was all these police body cam recordings, it was nuts. But I'm in this room, and it's about the size of this table, and it's just bad vibes, hated being in there. And I'm not afraid of the dark, but for some reason, I just couldn't turn the lights out. I was like, this place is just not okay. And I'm in bed, couldn't sleep, tossing and turning, and I randomly wake up, and I'm laying there, and I look at my pillow, and there's the biggest African bed bug I have ever seen in my life, just crawling towards my face. I mean, literally, it was the size of my pinky nail. And I get on, I text my the other executive producer who I made the show with, and I'm like, Pete, I was like, get me the F out of this place. I was like, I'll take ghosts all day long, but bed bugs, nope. So yeah.
And you're not a fan of bugs, kind of in general, right? Because at our last show, you don't like spiders.
Don't like spiders.
Didn't
Got
like spiders. Yeah, you got hypnotized, and we had a guy there that had giant spiders.
Yes.
And he made you hold one, didn't he?
He did. Yeah. No, I just got, well, last December, I did this British TV show called I'm a Celebrity, Get Me Out of Here, where they send you to the jungle for a month. And yeah, I did that. And so in order to do that show, I was like, I have to go get hypnosis.
You had to stick your hand in like holes with bugs, right, during the show?
Bugs, snakes.
I saw clips of it. I never could find like, because I guess it's not over. It's
Yeah.
a British show, so like, I didn't find a whole lot of stuff. But like you were headed like, it's almost like Survivor kind of
Yeah,
thing.
it's Survivor meets Fear Factor.
Has anyone seen it?
They tried to do an American version a few times, it just didn't work. But it's weird.
How far did you make it? Is like
I made it to the quarterfinals. So
who won?
a British streamer, video game streamer named Angry Ginge. Yeah, he's like massive in England. He's like the British Mr. Beast.
Okay. So that didn't seem fair at that point.
No, because he's got like he has a very large base.
So speaking of British and that kind of thing, my wife and I were watching the basement tapes and things and watching. So your accent is not as strong as your mom's so is there like, were you over here more, or did it wear out, or she goes like, yeah, I need to know what's wrong with it. She's back in the back going,
Why does he talk like that? No, so I found this out later in life. So the way your brain works with accents, it kind of solidifies, your accent tends to solidify in your early 20s when like it's something to do with like brain development, whatever. So because I came to America when I was 12, and then I was working in England from about the age of 18 to about 24, I was going back and forth. So my accent kind of ended up in this weird I belong nowhere kind of place. So
it comes and goes.
Yeah.
All right, so are you older, or is Kelly older?
Kelly's older.
Okay.
Yeah, 1 year and 10 days.
I should know that. I did the research. So before we go any further, let's open it up to some questions out here in the audience.
Yeah.
Your manager just wrote me, so I was... let's open up some questions out here while I answer this. And does anyone have a question? Raise your hand. Yep. Let's.
Hey, my name's Layla. I was just curious, out of all the places you went with your dad on the world detour, what was other than Louisville, what was your favorite place?
Good question. We had a lot of fun. Well, the first season we did a lot more international locations, and so we went to Cuba. That was a lot of fun. We went to Japan. And like sort of like samurai swords getting made. Yeah, those were great trips. But also, I think for me, it was not necessarily about the destination. It was just like the most memorable times I have were the long drives where, I mean, we were just talking, just shooting the shit, and like it was awesome.
All right, any more questions?
Thank you, God bless you. I'm just very proud of all you fans, and it's amazing that when Ozzy passed, how this world changed. It was amazing. I happened to be fortunate enough to be over in England for 2 weeks, and I got to go to the last show, the Black Sabbath show. And I couldn't get nobody to go with me because I didn't have the money or nothing, so I went by myself. And I made it a 2 week adventure. I went to Ozzy's, where he went to prison. I went to his home, his school, to the Crown, where the Earth and Bogota band first started. And I just wanted to say, I don't know if this reflects to you guys, but downtown in Birmingham, they have what they call the Crown. Now I heard maybe they might get rid of that, and I'm just scared to death that they're going to do something like that. I would be the first one to donate money to keep it. If you guys seen it, it's really neat, and it's just a museum of Black Sabbath that would be so neat to keep. You know, I know Led Zeppelin was there and stuff, but and I don't know if they were Sabbath. I think they might have been Earth or the Polka Dot Band right at that time.
So with they're not, the city of Birmingham isn't allowing so he's talking about the very first place Black Sabbath ever played a concert was a pub called the Crown Pub. And it's right in downtown Birmingham, and it's been kind of derelict for many years, just it's all boarded up, and they can't actually demolish the building. It's kind of, I actually noticed this when we went to where I saw the shooting, is like they have that hotel where like the facade of the hotel is old and they've just built behind. That's kind of what they can do. They can build on top of the building, and there's I guess some I want to say it's a Japanese hotel company is trying to build a hotel on top of it. I don't know, but there has been discussions about turning it into some sort of museum. Problem is, you know, you'd have to buy it up a Japanese hotel development company, and they probably don't want to lose money, and you know, it's a whole thing. But you know, they can't knock it down, I guess is the short answer.
Next question. Come on, Gavin. Rose. Did you eat the microphone?
Hi, my name is Jean-Lay. On the World Detour of the show, you had this doll that you'd scare your dad with. Do you still have that doll?
No, we actually sent the doll back. Yeah, we sent Robert back. We were like, all right, enough of this.
Have you done any cons that Annabelle the doll was at?
I've not done a con with Annabelle the doll. No. Yeah, but Annabelle's that's a creepy thing.
Yeah, I say they I think the closest she got to Louisville was what, Lexington recently. Yeah.
I wouldn't want to be the person flying on the plane with that doll. Like, how does that work?
I don't know. Don't they bring it in with like a full priest instead? Have you not?
Yeah, no,
they have like a full priest that walks with it. And,
yeah.
I don't know. Next question. These microphones are so sensitive.
Just like you.
I know. I am very sensitive.
I spent some time with Annabelle in Lexington last fall, and I felt strangely comfortable in there. They had a priest with full regalia who said a prayer for us. I think that helped a lot.
Sure.
And
It's all be a show, to be honest.
Could be, but there's a lot of weirdness around Annabelle.
well, first of all, I'm sorry that you had to experience that melee downtown. You know, that sounds very stressful, and Louisville presents itself usually a lot better than that. Having said that, you happen to be very close to a couple of historic hotels downtown that are allegedly haunted. There's the Sealback Hotel and the Brown Hotel. And I was just wondering if there's anywhere around Louisville, would be Waverly Hills or some other place, or in the Kentucky area that you haven't been that you would like to visit.
I've always wanted to investigate Waverly. Every time on Portals to Hell that we tried to go, it just never ended up working out. Either one of Discovery shows was just there, or scheduled. We just couldn't, for some reason, never came to be. So last night, actually, I was planning on going, but yeah, got a little sidetracked.
Next question.
All right,
No,
go.
all right. So I have a couple more. I just wanted to open up why I had to answer things. So going back to the Osbournes, there was what, five? Was it 5 seasons?
No, it's only technically 3.5.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, it's 56 episodes.
Okay, well, it felt like a lot of episodes.
Yeah.
So, the way it was made. So, as the seasons got later, did it get easier for you guys or harder being more out there and kind of, you know, it was probably harder to go places then. And when you started, you were still the Osbournes, but it wasn't like the Osbournes.
Sure.
But then later you became like everyone's family.
Yeah, you know, it made it really difficult. Because season 1, no one knew.
No one.
No one.
Everyone knew Ozzy, but like
Exactly. But you got to remember, like, my dad was not. He was well known, but he wasn't. They weren't playing his music on MTV, and that was actually one of the things why my dad didn't want to do the show. He was like, "Why am I going to do a TV show for MTV? They don't play my music." And my mom was like, "You got to promote your album. This is good promo. Just do it." He was like, "Okay." But so in like the hard rock metal world, yeah, people know who my dad was, and if you were a fan, you kind of knew about my mom and what you know, and the family, because we were around. But the general public had no idea. And after, like, there's a huge difference when you watch season 1 to season 2. Like, season 1, me and my sister we're just teenagers, and season 2, it's like, oh, things have changed. You know, Kelly's in New York doing an album. I'm insane, and like, just.
You had your label, and
I did have a label, right? Yeah, and you know, and we were kind of, you know, it had changed. And then season 3, it changed again because my mom, was going through cancer during season 2 and battling that, and it just got too hectic. And I think that's the reason why we were like, it's kind of left, we've kind of gone off the rails here, and it just wasn't. We all just sat back and we were like, yeah, I think we need to hang this up.
So, having that, and even before that, did you always go on tour with your dad when he was going? So like life on the road.
Yeah.
Was that hard? I mean, did you, as you grew up, did it become? Because you would have been very little when he was originally on tour.
Yeah.
Growing up into that, and it's not something you probably thought of as a kid. It was just normal.
Yeah.
It was just how life was. And everyone else looking at it. But do you think it was harder being on the road, or did you get more experience that you know?
Yeah, I think it was, the hard thing was, there'd be big chunks where I wouldn't be at school. And that made it difficult, and just because missing like half a semester kind of thing.
Was it harder to go back afterwards and be like, now
Yes.
I've got to be...
It made it really hard because I'm like, wait a second, it's way more fun doing that. And until I was about 12 or 13, I had a really kind of sheltered experience on the road with my dad. We would see stuff, you'd be around it, but it was like, you have to stay in the dressing room area, don't go wandering around.
What age did you get to start going to the after parties at the tour close parties?
12, 13, that's when I was like, wait a second. There's a whole different level to this experience. And that's when I started getting into a lot of trouble. I have a 14-year-old daughter now, and so I'm like, oh, you're like, she's like an angel compared to where I was.
So would you let your kid do any of the stuff that...
Oh, hell no. Oh my God, no. Yeah. I mean, she's on a 8th grade trip to Washington, D.C. and New York these last 2 weeks, and I'm like seeing where she's at all time. I've got like the tracking thing, and I'm like, okay, she's
you and Kelly were on you used to go to all the clubs and stuff down there before you were...
Oh yeah, no, the early 2000s was like a wild time.
Yeah.
If you were famous, you could get away with anything. I mean, I was going to like clubs that for 21-year-olds and up at 15. Like, if I saw a 15-year-old in a bar drinking today, I would lose my shit.
It's a different world. It's a whole different,
Yeah.
But you just...
That was just it. Yeah, that was just the way it was.
So, at the last event we did in Evansville, you had let stuff drop about Ozfest coming back.
Yeah.
Is that still...
Yeah, no, we are we're getting it all locked in.
It's a lot to think, yeah.
It is a lot, yeah. We kind of... The Hard Rock Festival space is so saturated. There's a lot, and we're not trying, but we're gonna do it right to where it doesn't feel like just another thing, and starting to go out to bands to figure out, all right, who's in, who's out, who can do it, who can't. So, and figuring out location of like where we're gonna drop it. We're not gonna tour it the first year. This is a bit of a trial run to see if, all right, is there a
market for it, or
exactly.
it is kind of, yeah. Squeeze the details.
Yeah.
We squeezed the detail, I think, right before, they dropped it online that time.
Yeah.
The Melissa, the one that was interviewing you, she had a camera going, and none of the audio caught.
Oh, really?
It was just you mouthing things, and she goes, son of a... That's how it happened.
You missed the exclusive.
You missed it, too bad. Before we get right to the final question, from the audience, you thought of, you came up with, this is your last chance. Jack, do you have any more projects coming up anytime soon that you want to tell anyone about?
We're doing a lot of stuff with the kind of Aussie Sabbath estate right now, and just figuring out that's a lot of the energy and focus.
You just had
another baby. Like literally we had a baby like 4 days off.
Yeah, right. And you said it right after.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh my God, that was.
Yeah,
it was
like,
good timing.
I got home on Sunday night, and my wife had the baby on Wednesday. So.
Dang.
Yeah.
Well, at least we didn't overlap.
Yeah, we were good.
We were good.
Yeah, we were in good standings with my wife.
Yeah. Well, and so when he came to our Evansville show, his flight got canceled, and he actually had to fly into Louisville.
Yep.
And then 2 of our people had to drive over and pick you up.
Yeah.
And drive you back. So that was thank you for that. by the
Thank
way.
you.
That was,
No, thanks for picking me
yeah,
up.
So you've been to Louisville twice.
Twice in 2 months.
2 months. Yeah. So. All right, guys, don't forget, Jack has a pro photo op coming up. If you haven't already purchased one of those and want to grab one of those, you can do that back there. Plus, they're doing a special one with him and Jamie.
Yeah.
You guys did
Night of Terror.
Night of Terror. That's the word I was looking for.
Yeah.
Night of Terror together. Or that's what you could call last night, too.
Last night was a Night of Terror.
So, they have those right there, too. Do a combo photo op, so that's a rare chance to get that. Other than that, guys, please give Jack a huge round of applause.
Thank you.
Jack.
It's not too late to learn how to love and forget how to hate.